What's up, guys? This is Blank Boy, and you suck at Vultology. This is the only show on the internet where you get to hone your Vultological prowess. Each episode, we look at four public figures and ask you to do your best at typing them using nothing else than Vultology. You're welcome to post your answers in the comment section below. And after about a week, we'll reveal their types and cover any common mistypes that show up in the comments. These are just soft typings to be sure, so there's only 16 different answers, though I guess I might end up talking a little bit about speculation of development. But anyway, we're really just looking for two function axes and a leading energetic element. As far as how well you guys did last week, let's see, the average score was about 56%, so not great. The award for least suck goes to Mr. Ralteria, who got a 10 out of a possible 16 points. And the prize for least suck this week is a set of coasters that coast like air hockey pucks around the table. The prize for most suck goes to Carol this week, who got 7 out of a possible 16. And her prize is an infinite stack of atoms. All right, so let's get into it. Let's see how you guys did more specifically to the gifts.
All right, here we are at the gifts. Let's check out David Foster Wallace first. So a lot of people thought that he was PE lead. I think almost everyone thought he was a P lead of some sort. Let's just look at his fluidity first through some of these gifts. Here, he doesn't look super fluid. In fact, this you could probably mistake this for rigidity, and I know at least one person did. But as we keep looking, and certainly if you watched over the span of an interview, he does have quite a bit of fluidity that lasts over the span of minutes at a time. There are some moments like this one where we just get these discrete shifts, but a lot of what he's doing is very slow and inertial. This is actually a slowed down GIF. Some of these GIFs for him I actually slowed down, but we do get a predominantly. Here's another great one showing some a lot of fluidity. I guess here he's just sort of rearranging his posture, rearranging the way he's sitting. But we do get these sorts of motions, right? These sorts of lateral rearrangements of where he's sitting. So there is certainly a lot of fluidity, and almost everyone I think did recognize that. Now, what kind of fluidity is this, right? So is he a PI lead or is he a PE lead, a conductor or a revisor? Let's go through these a little more slowly now. So I might have gone a little overboard on the David Foster Wallace gifts, just because I thought there was some really interesting stuff in here. And to be sure, his perception axis is a bit tricky. He has, these sorts of eye movements. All of this underneath a scowl. These first two have these just heavy held scowls that last a while on end. And what I want you guys to notice in these first two gifts is the quality of his eyes. What does it look like he's looking at, right? In other words, is he doing an object impression zone, or an inner object zone? Does it look like he's looking at some object in the room, or does he look like he's looking through things? And I know that's a sort of vague qualia thing to try to describe in words, but here we're seeing it looks like he's just looking at points in the room. Looks like he's looking at objects in space, rather than looking through space, right? Especially with this, it looks like, almost like he's tracking something. Not that there's anything like a mouse running around or something for him to track. But anyway, and I want to note, when he's scowling, maybe it would be good to compare some scowling to some baseline brow. He has kind of an interesting shaped eyebrow. The eyebrow itself, I mean, the hair of his brow, it kind of fades away on the edges, right? It's got this darkness near the center, and then it gets lighter and lighter, and it sort of gradually fades away. So it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to track exactly what's going on, because of just the way the edges of his brow sort of fade away. And so I hope this wasn't too difficult for anyone. But when we look at this brow, this scowled brow relative to this baseline, hopefully you guys can see that it does look like the whole darn thing came down. And right at the beginning of this GIF, it does go down a little bit. We can sort of see that right there. I probably should have slowed down this one, so we can see the moment right there. It's hard because it's also while his head is moving up. So this is probably not the most illustrative GIF. Probably not the best. But anyway, let's keep going. Well, actually, while I'm looking at these GIFs, let me just mention a few things. As he's looking around here, right here and there at the end again, his head moves a little bit, and it's so hard to say, right? Is this a head shake? Is this just a narrow zone that he's engaged in? We are not seeing, what we're certainly not seeing, is the head, moving side to side a great deal. And to be sure, we see this a lot with David Foster Wallace, just sort of moving around a little bit of the head, but not really going way over here or way over there. Here we see, right, some more of that. Also featured in this GIF is a little bit of pulling right there. So if you did not get his perception axis, yeah, that's not a good thing, because he exhibits a lot of this right here, and later on we're going to see some slow down GIFs. A lot of lip wobbling does happen extremely quickly, so slowing him down, watching him at even at quarter speed, can really help picking up on these little things. Here's just a little pull right there, up and on this side. Let's keep going. Here, I hope it wasn't too confusing what appears to be lateral toggling. And to be sure, maybe you might call this toggling, but what I'm paying attention to is how zoned out his eyes look. His eyes look very zoned out right now. He's not really exhibiting any PE energy, any liveliness to him. So I went ahead and called this a disengagement. Disengage, disengage. And we also see during this disengagement some very quick, right there, some very quick lip wobbling. It actually goes this way and this way. This is really hard to see. We're going to see some slowed down versions of this. But if anyone is interested, please feel free to slow down this video to just see the moment where the bottom lip comes down here and the upper lip comes up here. Very quick, very quick. All right. Here we have, well, we already saw this one for fluidity, but we have some more of this asymmetric upward pulling, right? This is coming up. This is not going out toward the ears. This is going up, right? Sort of concentrated right here, right next to the nose. All right, cool, cool. And there is some head shaking here, right? It's not really coordinated. It's just kind of some shaking in the middle here. All right, and uncoordinated. I went ahead and called it asynchronous. It's not really synchronized with what he's saying, what he's doing, anything else. I guess you could maybe say it happens at the same time as that upward lip pull. But if we went back and listened to what he was saying at the moment, it's not really coordinated with his speech. Let's keep going. Here, this one slowed down so that we can appreciate his lip pulling right there and right there. And there it is. We're also getting some of these head nods here and here. Not to be fooled, this getting slowed down does make this head nod feel a bit warmer. But these are just at a plateau velocity. These are all just happening at whatever speed. There's a little forward gesturing here. I guess it's a little bit cropped. But what you'll notice about it, despite coming forward, is that it is fluid, right? It's not hitting in space. It's not stopping. There is this overwhelming fluidity to his motions. All right, here we have some more pulling right there and right there. Right, for him, sometimes it's on one side, sometimes it's on the other side. It's not really consistent. All right, and another pull up there. And then he is coming forward at the end here, right there. Yes, the GIF cuts off there. But all right, he does have a bit of this leaning forward, a bit of this forward moving as his articulation gets going. All right, this is something that we're looking for in conductors, right there, that forwardness. And right, this is like with the whole body. It's not just a head push, right? The head, the neck is not going at an angle. It's the whole body is coming forward. All right. So seeming like a conductor, here we're getting smirk right there, a little bit of a snarling smile and smirk. If maybe I should have slowed down all of these, but you guys are certainly welcome to slow down the video as you're watching it. Unfortunately, I can't slow down these GIFs now that I've made them. But all right, here we have, this snarl with the curled lip that's sort of getting tucked under to reveal more of his teeth and upper gums. Not to say that everyone who's upper gums you can see while they smile is FITE, but all right. Curling and the smirk on the side. Just a real quick smirk right there. All with this sort of fluidity. Here he's going back and forth. All right, let's keep going. And here we go. Here we're seeing sort of the chaotic path that his chin is following, off to the side, then back. There's not, discrete vectors that it's following. if we just had a tracer on his chin, we would see the sort of chaotic path through space that it follows. And during the same time, we're getting this nasolabial tension. Here it is, on both sides. And right, more of this fluidity, right? I'm talking about the shoulders when I'm talking about the fluidity. I'm not talking about, his head or his mouth or anything like that. I am just talking about, these shoulders moving to the side, sort of shifting to the left there. That's what I mean. All right, cool. And yeah, right there, we would call this some head turbulence. This little, all right. Now here, all right, we have another GIF showing this, slowed down, showing this sort of emotional radiation. Right here, he gets smiling, sort of accidentally, and right there, that pulling up and to the left. Right, this is a very upward smile. It's a very vertical shape, and there it is with the chin engaged too. There's tension here, right there. Awesome. And then we can also see the upper lip curl. There it is. Awesome. I've got another handful of GIFs. I know I maybe made too many, but here I just thought it was so cool to see just how halted he gets. I mean he's zoned out, and he just it's like JI is just yanking on him. Get back. Nope. Oh, and then right as this GIF ends, he starts to get going. But just I just want to appreciate how long this is happening for. Right? A lot of halting in here. And in here, again, we see how halted he can get. He can get really quite halted. With these zoned out eyes, right? A lot of JIPI going on in here. JIPI. A lot of this. We would need a full report to really know, but I speculate maybe we've got a double introvert here. Then here we go. We can just see sort of the quality of his perk up right there. This is what we would call a quirky perk up. So I know the phrasing of quirky perk up sounds sort of bizarre, but this perk up, it doesn't have that energy. It feels sort of lazy in comparison to we'll see later some SE perk ups. This any perk up just feels a little lazy. It doesn't have the same intensity, the same concentration of energy. It's just kind of going off to the side and kind of bouncing around. I mean, not really bouncing, but the head goes that way and this way, and it's just sort of a lax perk up, I guess we could say. Then here, I didn't finish labeling all these extra all these extra GIFs that I have, but all right, here I thought this was just cool to see how much his eyes are really looking around. Finally when we get his eyes looking more alert, right? Just the quality of his eyes here look very different than in all these other ones. All these other ones where he's looking so very zoned out. Finally, we are getting some alert looking eyes, and they do have just this doe-eyed sort of quality, right? This doe-eyed sort of quality. And he's looking over here. He's looking over here. He looks over here, up there. All right, but this can be so tricky, right? Because doesn't this look like it's staying within the horizontal plane? Doesn't this look SE and I, you might say? So this can be real tricky, just the way, I'm not sure exactly what's going on in the room. what object might be over here. And another thing that I want to point out is we've got some nose touching, some glasses touching. I certainly would not say that sort of body awareness is restricted to the SENI axis. So right, this sort of thing might look like some signal mixing, but I would just say, okay, well, this is PE and more PE. And as an aggregate of all his signals, I would still say that he is well within the NESI range. We don't get a lot of toggling. We don't get a lot of PE signals from David Foster Wallace in general. But all right, this is some of the most that we see from him, along with just one perk up. Finally, here we've got just the same GIF, but this time slowed down. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but if anyone wants to check this out, slow down. There is a bit of, where is it? Yeah, there it is. Some nasal labial pulling right there at the end. All right, let's keep going. All right, so yeah, we saw that David Foster Wallace is, yeah, so here, just coming back here for another moment. Yeah, so overall, David Foster Wallace is a PI lead delta, right? Now let's move on to Lex Fridman. So this is something that we get a lot with Lex. Lex is really tricky for the main reason that he shows a lot of PI. He shows a lot of JI. Almost everyone got that he was some sort of introvert, but we had that split between whether or not he was leading with JI or PI. And to be sure, we do get plenty of this sort of conductor looking thing with the scowling during this diagonal eye drift, some head pushing in here, right? Feeling a bit conductor. But overall, he doesn't really end up coming forward very much. And we'll see that as we keep going. So here we've got some forward gesturing, with a little bit of folding right there. And there's some scowling at the end here, right there it is. And these ongoing motions, right? His hands here, it looks like sort of pause at a moment in space right there. But more or less just keep moving. So this looks tricky. It's looking like, well, he's forward gesturing, but it looks like it's happening within fluidity. And at the same time, it looks like his shoulders are really sort of, remembering where they belong. Just sticking to their guns, right? Even in this very PI heavy moment, looks like his shoulders just want to stay right here. And down here, right? It looks like his shoulders really want to stay right here. There's a little bit of motion, but they keep coming back right there. Here, yeah, we've got him talking with a pen, so I'm not really paying attention to what his hands are doing here, but I use this GIF because I wanted to look at the way that his smile rises and falls, comes up on the face, and it's gone. Up on the face, and gone. Right? check out another one. Here, right, his smile looks placid. It doesn't really reach his eyes. What you can do, my cursor is not really big enough, but what you can do is I want you to take your thumb and just hold it over his mouth and watch this GIF. And his eyes are so unaffected. They're so totally unaffected by his smile. This is what we mean by a placid smile. And we do see this smile coming horizontally. All right. We're getting a little bit of the curtain effect. This is not the most high quality image in the world, but this is a little bit of curtain effect, and it rises and it falls. Rises and falls. All right. I think we see it falling, right? Rises. Maybe I clipped it a little soon. Oh well. But this is what you get overall with Lex, as you watch interviews of him. This sort of smiling pattern. Then here we get this heavy disengagement right here. He's closing his eyes. His brow moves down. He's just so heavily trying to block out external stimuli. And you'll notice even within this head pushing right there, his shoulders stay right here. Yeah, there was like, a little bit of rocking, sure, but they stay right here. They remember where they belong. But yeah, heavy disengagement. Here we go. We've got some more motion from him here. Yeah, sorry, this is like dark background with a dark suit, but hopefully I think with the lighting we can see where his suit ends and the wall begins. At least I can see it pretty well on my screen. Here starts with a diagonal drift. And we have some forward and then lateral gesturing. And this also looks like it's ongoing motion. It really does. It looks like, okay, moving. It comes to a halt very briefly right there. So mild bit of halting. And then we keep going in this lateral direction. So here, right, it's looking like a bit of PI with JE and just a little bit of JI right there. And some PE at the end here. All right. So cool. We got, a little bit of all four in here. Here, I just thought this was a funny GIF. Here he's pantomiming and locks and goes into some more pantomiming that we don't see at the end there. Right, this is just a very heavy lock right there. Right, that is a sustained lock. That is a sustained lock. And so this is the thing that's so tricky about Lex, is that we get these sustained zones with scowls. We get these sustained locks. And of course, in doing a soft typing, I'm not sitting here, counting which one lasts so much longer than the other. But all right, we do see quite a bit of both these energetics being able to sustain themselves. Then here we have some forward gesturing, which looks pretty fluid, right? It looks pretty fluid. There's quite a bit of fluidity here. And we get the scowl at the end there. Right there. And for most of this GIF, his eyes are doing this diagonal drift down. They're up here. He looks at the interviewer right there and looking down. So Lex is really tricky. With that placid smile, we're seeing evidence that he's FETI. with the quality of his scowls, I guess this is something that I should have spent more time talking about just now. Though I think almost everyone got his, yeah, actually everyone. Okay, fine. One person missed his perception axis, but almost everyone is able to see that. Okay, this is an NI scowl, right? This sort of intense thing where it looks like he's just, looking off into nothingness, while the middle of the brow, right, this frontalis scowling, the middle of the brow gets pulled, the edges do not, right? This tension, and as I'm saying, I know that this is getting pulled a little inward, right? You can't. I mean, this whole thing is connected, right? But it's not getting pulled down. That's what we mean. Edges of the brow are not getting pulled down. So all right, we've got this TIFE user, this SENI user, so he's some sort of beta. And yeah, what's so tricky about him is that he's got ongoing motions. He's got some fluidity in his gestures. But overall, he lacks that conductor forwardness. He really doesn't end up coming forward, even as he gestures forward. Really, on the whole, he stays rather rigid. He stays back. So if you said that he was an NI lead, I'm gonna count that as right, just because of how tricky he is. If you said that he's a TI lead, I'm gonna count that as right. We would probably need a full report to really know, though canonically I am gonna go ahead and lean toward his being a TI lead. All right, cool, and that's Lex. Moving on to Whitney Cummings. So she is an interesting one, in that I would guess her to be probably double extroverted. JEPE. I of course I would need a report to say definitively, but she really just has so much extroversion going on, so much unbridled movement coming out. Here we're just seeing one example of that. She's gesturing laterally, and yet it hits, right? It's rigid. Hit, hit, hit. There's 3. Hit, hit, and hit, right? So, okay. Another thing to notice about these hits is that it's coordinated with her head pushes, right there, right there, right there. Head push, head push, head push. Everyone did really well with her judgment axis. Everyone got her judgment axis right. I was actually surprised by that, because before I took a deeper look at her, she does almost seem TE lead because she's not warm. She is not warm. She feels cold, but on the whole, just because she feels cold, well, that's one thing. On the whole, we don't see TEFI signals from her. And I think you guys did a real good job of picking that up on her. Picking that up, yeah, on her. I did say that right. Okay. So we don't get head turbulence. Here, this one, her head is, she's trying to be fluid. And it's interesting, even as she's trying to be fluid, it's like she can't help but to be rigid, right? Her hands end up coming to these, boom, right there, to these set points in space, even though she's doing lateral gesturing. This starts with a disengage up right there. And there's a bit of a halt right there. But overall, she is rigid, even in her lateral gesturing. Here we do get some toggling, right? Unlike David Foster Wallace, she looks like she is, for sure alert with her eyes as she looks around. We're getting a little bit right there. And then, she does close her eyes in the middle of this right there. We'll see more of this in a bit. Let's keep going. So here we have more of these forward hits right there, and some more stopping in space right there. All right, it looks fluid for a little bit and stops. Hit, fluid, stop. She's got a head shaken here and a head nod. And I just want you to note how these are just a couple discrete vectors, right? If we do the same thing, if we trace her chin, it goes here and there, and that's it. Here and there, right? So even if she doesn't feel warm, on the whole, her chin doesn't move chaotically. There's no head turbulence. She does have these gestures on beat. It does seem that her double extroversion, just what I'm guessing is double extroversion, does make her feel like she's doing a bit of avalanching in terms of articulation, which would be a TE signal. But if you listen carefully, she is actually swelling. She is actually changing velocity as she goes. It's not that that steady stream. Here we've got some disengaging of the eyes at the very beginning right here. Then this forward gesture timed with the head nod. There we go. So right, this is happening nod and hand at the same time. And then this gesture comes back, but it's not meticulous. I would not say that that was JI right there. But we can talk about that if anyone wants to. And a head push at the end here, right? We get so much JE from her. We really do. Just a lot of JE from Whitney. Here, we've got these lateral hands, right? This feels pretty casual, but even so, it's rigid, right? Hit, hit. These are still rigid, as much as, right, this is a PE signal. It's within rigidity. And here we're getting eye-head parallel motions. All right, we're getting this SENI signal, right? Especially as someone who's a J lead, right? This looks like, oh wow, is she eye-led? This is not her being a P lead. This is just her being SENI. This eye-head parallel motion, right? All right, cool. And at the end here, there is a shoulder shrug. It's pretty brief, yeah, right there. But anyway, here we've got more forward gesturing with some pointed toggling. It seems like she keeps wanting to come right here. Yeah, there. 1, 2, 3. But to be sure, if anyone got tripped up by her perception axis, I don't blame you, right? It's not as though she has like a bunch of deep scowls and things like that. Here we get a little bit of a scowl. It's pretty mild right there, right? It's not like some deep scowl, and especially with the lighting and her skin complexion, it's a little washed out. It's a little hard to see exactly what's going on here. But to be sure, and again, I'm not talking about the shape of her eyebrow. The inside here is getting pulled down and not the outside. It's weird because also right at the end there, she ends this with a brow raise right there. But this is the SENI scowl we're looking for. She has some of these, but again, these are pretty mild. They're not these big, heavy scowls with, huge lines in the middle here. And then also with this head shaking, this almost looks like TE turbulence. It almost does. It's a bit too steady. It's a bit too steady though to really be TE. And again, I think you guys did a great job of catching that. Here we get to see the quality of her perk up. This is amped. Very different from the way that David Foster Wallace perked up, as we saw before. Here, just look at the energy in her eyes. Boom, right there. Boom. It just, bam, brings them so much life, right? This is the SE perk up. This is what we mean by amped. And it's so funny, even though she's having this amped perk up, this PE signal, her hands can't help but to be so rigid. Look at how rigid they are. Hit, hit, hit. They just keep, and one more right at the end there. So much JE from her. It's ridiculous. And you guys picked up on this as well. I don't think anyone thought she was anything but an FE lead. Great job, everyone. Almost everyone thought she was SINE though. And that is where you guys are going wrong. She is a beta FE lead or a beta JE lead. All right, cool. Finally, coming to Kojia. Here, we've got our person who does not speak English this week. You guys all did horribly with him. I'm just gonna put that out there. No one got him right. No one even got that close to right. Let's see what's going on with him. So here, to be fair, there's not, a huge mess load of interview footage of him available, at least on YouTube. But here we've got some diagonal drifting. Right? It's like, I mean, in this GIF, it's like he can't help but to keep coming back into this diagonal drift. He's here, he comes up, he goes back. He comes up, he goes back. Right? He is so stuck in this diagonal drift. I mean, it's ridiculous. There's a bit of a forward push right there. And all the while his hands are, this is what we mean by meticulous hands. And, of course, if anyone's saying, well, is there some nervousness in here? Yeah, there probably is. Nonetheless, this is our meticulous hands signal. All right. Let's keep going. Here we see quite a bit of fluidity. Right? So he is seated. I just want to make that point. He is seated in this one. I did not grab from the interview where he's standing up. And even though he's seated, look at how much he's moving. Look at how much he's moving. Oh wow. Oh wow. That is a lot of fluidity right there. And what's he doing at the same time? He's doing, again, this diagonal drift right there. Right here, he starts in it. He comes up, looks at the interviewer, and down again. In it, up, in it again. All right, we got a lot of PI. We got a lot of PI from Kojia. Let's keep going. And what do we see here? We see right there a bit of this conductor forwardness, right? And here we get to see, some PE here, right there. He's lighting up, very casual hand right there. He is fluid all the while. There's some toggling right here. There it is. As he goes back, forth, back, forth. Kind of a cool toggle. Boom, 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 boom. And we do see a very brief smile of his. This is, not the best gift of a smile. We'll see some more shortly. But all right, cool. We see quite a bit of casualness. This PE lighting up. With the forwardness. All right, cool. Here, let's check out the scowl. This is actually, right, this little brief scowl and then another little brief scowl. What's going on? What's going on with his brow? I know he's got these thick-rimmed glasses, but we can still see the brow. It is above the glasses all the while. His brow's getting pulled all the way across. All the way across, right? This is coming down. This is coming down. I'm not going to zoom in, but okay, cool. The whole thing is coming. The whole thing is coming down. And, yes, there's that head shake and this head nod, head shake, head nod. And, he feels pretty fluid here in terms of the spine. But all right, this looks like an SI scowl, right? The whole brow gets to be moving around, gets to be part of it. Here we can see another example of this. Here we see these soft brow raises that are, a little bit of dancing. This is not the most dancingest of brows, that SINE signal of the dancing brow. But here, right, we can see how lax this area is, right? With this brow raise, it looks like, in the middle, it really gets to raise up, and on the edges, right, they don't have to raise up quite as much as what the middle is doing, right? It's dynamic, right? Over here raises less than over here, which raises more than over there. All right, cool. We do also see him getting halted here, right here. And another one of these toggles from him, this right there, right here, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, ending in a head push. Where is it? Right here. There it is. And almost, I guess maybe you'd call this like a head pull, head push and pull, right? It kind of comes back. But all right. What I really wanted to highlight here was, the fluidity of the brow here. So both of these gifts make me want to say, okay, SINE. All right. Let's keep going. Here we've got more meticulous hands. Doesn't look so much like that nervous look that we were seeing earlier. Right, just sort of looks poised, I guess you might say. And then some delicate pinching right there, the delicate pinch, with some head nodding all the while. Just kind of, steady head nodding, this plateau velocity, right? Nod, nod, up, nod. And right, this is not really, I mean, we can see where the chin goes, right? It's nodding over here, we come back, we're nodding over here. It goes in not too many different directions. Let's be honest, this is not like a super big, jumping around with the chin. But all right, there's some nodding over here, there's some nodding over there. Let's try to dive into that judgment axis a little bit more. And here we're getting a better sight of his smile. I just want to compare it. Can we look at both of these at the same time, actually? Can we just compare the angle of his upper lip here and here? As he smiles, it's like his upper lip gets tucked under, gets tucked into his mouth, right? Here it's at one angle. We can see the front face of his lip. And here, as he smiles, it gets tucked under. it disappears. The front face of his lip disappears under there. This is what we mean by a snarling smile. Okay, this is a snarling smile. And yes, there's some other stuff in here. There's a lot of fluidity. There's a little bit of a forward gesture right there. But really, I just want to pay attention to the quality of his smile. Also, as he smiles, we see his cheeks here, like they get engaged here. They don't look quite as bulging as right here. I guess it's a little hard to see at this angle, you know, whether or not that's bulging or not. But all right, that's at least the way I'm reading this. And here we have another one. I think the bulge forms a little clearer here, especially as he starts not smiling too much and then is smiling more at the end there. There we go, right? We can see this line becoming heavier. All right. And yeah, we got some meticulous hands right here with you know, what we might call an exerted push right there, right? This push that is going forward, but you know, it doesn't really leave the torso area very much, right here, right? It's not really coming out so far. So this is a JE signal, but something's holding it back from you know, really getting fully engaged. Excuse me. And also, all the while, we are seeing this diagonal drifting. So we get a lot of PI. We get so much PI from Katya. On the whole, he is very monotone. As you hear him talk, when he gets into unbroken articulation, it is just monotone. And yes, you can speak in a tonal language and be monotone. Those are two different uses of the word tone. But all right, cool. He's got the monotone articulation. He's got the snarling smile here. He's got the uncoordinated head pushes and nods. He's TEFI, and we saw before the quality of his scowls and his dancing-ish brow. He's SINE. We have a PI lead delta.
This week, we're going to be taking a look at Sal Khan, James McAvoy, Tech9, and Nastya Kreslina.
Sal Khan is the founder of Khan Academy, a free online education platform best known for its math and science courses, and Khan Lab School, a legit brick and mortar school associated with Khan Academy. His vision of education pushes the envelope of what great education may look like. James McAvoy is an actor you may know from The Chronicles of Narnia or Wanted. Having played Professor Xavier in a number of films and Kevin Wendell Crumb in both Split and Glass, it may seem that he's only cast as supernatural characters. I'll remind you, though, that it was the 2013 film Filth, based on a novel of the same name, for which he won Best Actor. Aaron Yates, better known as Tech9, is a rapper, singer, songwriter, and Midwest chopper. I'm not exactly sure if he created the chopper style of rap or just perfected it. But if you haven't given him a listen, I encourage you to check him out, not only for his speed, but also his versatile flows. He co-founded the Strange Music record label. Nastya Kreslina is a vocalist and lyrical writer of Ice Peak. The musical duo is known for their lyrical content aimed at political satire and social commentary, critical of the Russian political atmosphere. To call them mere musicians doesn't quite do them justice, as their jarring, dark visual aesthetics really makes them more of a multimedia performance.
You guys are encouraged to find as many videos of these people as you would like. Some of them may have videos where they are acting in character, and you probably would not want to use those. You are encouraged to watch videos at a slower speed to aid in pinpointing those little micro expressions that can elude you at full speed. Go ahead and leave your answers in the comment section below. Good luck, and I'll see you next week.